Imagine an open-world game where you fight epic battles against giant creatures, climb massive mountains, fly across the world, and even take part in huge battles against entire armies. All of this takes place in a massive world filled with secrets and incredible details. That's exactly what the game Crimson Desert is trying to deliver. From the very first trailer, a lot of players became extremely excited about this game, and it quickly turned into one of the most anticipated games in the world. But the real question is, are we actually looking at a legendary open-world game that could compete with the biggest titles out there? Or is it just another beautiful trailer with big promises like many games we've seen before? In this video, we're going to talk about the most important details and information you should know about the game before you even think about trying it, because some of these details might completely change the way you look at the game. So let's start with the idea of the game itself, because many people don't actually know that the project changed a lot during development. At the beginning, the game was not planned to be a single-player story experience like it is today. Originally, the project was connected to the world of Black Desert, and it was supposed to be closer to an online MMO experience where thousands of players share the same world. But after some time, the developers at Pearl Abyss made a huge decision. They changed the direction of the project completely and turned it into a massive open-world game that focuses heavily on story and characters. This decision became a major turning point for the project because the team started focusing more on delivering a cinematic experience and a deeper narrative instead of just creating another online world. The story of the game takes place in a fictional continent called Pywell. This is a massive land filled with political conflicts and wars between different kingdoms. The continent isn't just one location, it's made up of many different regions, and each region has its own culture, its own armies, and its own problems. The main character of the story is Cliff McDuff, the leader of a mercenary group known as the Greymanes. This group is simply trying to survive in a brutal world filled with betrayal and constant wars between kingdoms. At the beginning of the story, their group is attacked by a powerful force, and the members of the team are scattered across the continent. From that moment, Cliff begins a long journey to find his companions again while uncovering the massive conspiracies that threaten the entire world. One of the things that caught players' attention immediately in the early gameplay trailers was the size of the world itself. The developers promised a huge world filled with different environments like towering mountains, dense forests, massive deserts, coastlines, rivers, large cities full of life, and small villages scattered across the land. Every region in the game will have its own enemies, unique creatures, and even its own side stories. This means exploration won't just be about moving from one mission to another. It will actually be a core part of the experience. What makes the world even more interesting is that it's not just a beautiful environment. It's designed to feel alive and reactive. The weather system changes dynamically, so during gameplay you might experience heavy rain, powerful storms, or thick fog. On top of that, the game features a full day and night cycle that can affect the world and certain events. Some monsters may only appear at night, while certain activities might become easier or harder depending on the time of day or the weather conditions. The combat system also looks quite different compared to many traditional RPGs. Combat is fast, powerful, and focuses heavily on chaining attacks together to create smooth and satisfying combos. Players can use different types of weapons like heavy swords, lighter weapons, and ranged attacks using a bow. Some gameplay footage also showed the ability to grab enemies, throw them, or even use the environment during combat, like pushing enemies off cliffs or smashing them into objects. This gives the fights a very cinematic feel and makes each encounter look unique. One of the moments that really shocked players during the gameplay reveal was the battles against massive creatures. Some scenes showed fights against gigantic monsters that are far larger than the main character. These battles look like intense boss fights that require strategy, timing, and careful movement in order to survive. The graphics are also one of the most impressive aspects of the game. Crimson Desert uses Pearl Abyss's own graphics engine called the Blackspace Engine. This engine allows for extremely detailed characters, realistic lighting, and highly detailed environments. Some of the scenes shown in trailers looked almost like a cinematic movie rather than a typical video game. Movement and traversal are also a big focus in the game. Players can ride horses to travel quickly across the world or climb mountains to reach high locations. Some footage even showed characters gliding from high cliffs or using flying creatures to travel through the sky. This creates a strong sense of freedom while exploring and makes the world feel much larger. Besides combat and exploration, the game also includes many side activities. Players can hunt animals and collect resources from the environment like plants or minerals. These materials can be used to craft different tools and weapons. There's also a cooking system where players can prepare food that gives the character various buffs during their journey. Another interesting feature is the mercenary camp management system. As you progress through the story, you'll be able to upgrade your camp and build facilities that help you during your adventure. You can also send some of your companions on missions to gather resources or explore new locations. This system makes you feel like you're actually leading a mercenary group instead of just controlling a single character. Players will also take part in large-scale battles between armies. Some gameplay footage showed huge battlefield scenes with dozens of soldiers fighting at the same time. This creates the feeling of massive wars and makes the world feel like it's constantly in conflict. The length of the game also seems quite impressive compared to many modern titles. Early expectations suggest that the main story alone could take dozens of hours to complete, especially for players who enjoy exploring and doing side missions. Some estimates suggest that a full playthrough could easily reach more than 50 hours of gameplay. Another piece of good news for players is that the developers stated that the game will launch as a complete experience that you purchase once, without microtransactions at release. This made many players even more excited because they expect a full experience without needing to spend extra money while playing. But despite all this excitement, one big question still remains. Can the game actually deliver all these ambitious ideas successfully? Or is the project simply too ambitious? Many games in the past promised huge features but failed to deliver them when they finally launched. If Crimson Desert manages to achieve everything it's promising, we could be looking at one of the most impressive open-world games in the coming years. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think Crimson Desert will actually become a legendary game? Or is it just another overly ambitious project? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you enjoy videos about upcoming games and the biggest titles on the horizon, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future content.